This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is Not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is Rahne Victoria, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and CastBox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the Empress of Evil, Rahne Victoria.
Yep. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Can you tell us where the Empress will reign next, event-wise?
I am actually on the shelf right now. I learned of a second injury that I'm not going to be able to wrestle with. However, I'm still a big part of 01 USA, where we have shows at our training school every Thursday, and you can watch those on Patreon, as well as monthly shows in Mattoon, Illinois, and Terre Haute, Indiana. So I'd like to talk about them. Me and Joey O'Reilly are head trainers at the training school, and we have a lot of fun seeing the trainees improve and grow as athletes and wrestlers.
And where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
Yep, I'm on all three, Instagram, X, and Facebook, and it's Rahne Victoria, spelled just that way. It'll pop right up, that and Google. I am pretty active on there. However, I know social media can be kind of toxic.
Oh, yeah. And merchandise?
My merchandise, we actually have a company that we make our own designs or make the prints. You can get your design done somewhere else, and it's called Raving Designs, RAVING, and that's found on Facebook. So that would be the best way to order merch, or just shoot me a direct message.
Okay. So, like you mentioned, you got injured. Was that wrestling related? What happened there?
It is not wrestling related. It's related to my second daughter. I haven't healed since I had her. And turns out my abdomen is actually still split in two, and I have a hernia.
Ooh. So, will there be a timetable for your return?
I'm waiting for general surgery to contact me.
Okay. Alright. Well, let's talk about, 01, the promotion you work for. What has your relationship been with them?
Well, I've been wrestling for them pretty consistently for about 6 years. I have been the women's champion at least twice, maybe 3 times. Usually when I have it, I keep it for a while. However, it was changed to the Shining Light Championship when Jacques Kennedy was champion. And I kept the title, and actually I just lost it to a jerk named Benjamin Trust.
Well, that being said, you are the Empress of Evil, but then you went to Corn-Fed, and now you transitioned back into the Empress of Evil. Can you tell us what was the decision to go to Corn-Fed and then ultimately come back to Empress of Evil?
Well, Corn-Fed was, I felt like more likable because the people were cheering me as the Empress of Evil, and it just felt strange. So I was like, that is quite strange. Now I'm a mother. I'm just going to go back to my roots. That's what Rahne Victoria, the Corn-Fed version, thought. But deep down, I just know that people are terrible and they don't deserve Corn-Fed Rahne, and they definitely don't deserve a hero because they just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So I used the glitch to get the Empress of Evil back.
And it kind of came full circle when you wrestled Shazza McKenzie, right?
Yes, so that was right before I wrestled her the second time, I believe. I was fully back to my evil self.
Alright. Now, besides 01, you actually worked for Shine, one of the bigger promotions for women's wrestling. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so I was getting very involved with Evolve right before the pandemic. I had done multiple seminars, including Tommaso Ciampa, Shayna Baszler, whole bunch of people. And I was doing ring setup, putting in the work, even though I'm evil. I was just trying to get ahead, and I got the opportunity to be on Shine. I was in a 5-woman scramble, and unfortunately I didn't win, but it was going to be a very nice foot in the door. I was scheduled to be on the pre-show of an Evolve out there in Logan Square, I do believe, against Laney Luck, and then the pandemic brought everything to a point. However, during the pandemic, I got to work for AEW Dark. That was an amazing experience. I got to wrestle Penelope Ford, lost that unfortunately too, but what an experience it was to be there all day around some of the best people, wrestlers, be in Florida. And then shortly after that, I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter.
Now, going to AEW, you actually wrestled in Daly's place, which is kind of low-key becoming a wrestling building. What was that like, being in, AEW's literally their home, arena?
It was really interesting. So it was during COVID, so there weren't very many fans at all. So that had its own aspect of difference. And it was actually storming. It was hurricane season.
I believe it was November.
What?
It was November of 2020.
Yeah, but when we went down there, they said it was hurricane season because I was doing some other matches and the power went out. They said that this was like a bad season.
I remember that. There was literally rain coming through the ceiling.
Yeah.
But what about Penelope Ford? Obviously AEW staple. What was it like wrestling her?
It was very interesting to see like a star up close and getting that experience. I would say she was a little like kind of nasty in the ring. Took her liberties, but I can relate, so I respect that. And ultimately, she came up on top, and it was just a good opportunity to work with someone that I knew from the East Coast, but to see her and be with her on that level was just pretty awesome for me.
Now, I think everybody wants to know, how's the catering backstage for AEW?
It wasn't bad, but I would definitely say WWE was better. There's just way more options, and it's more available, I guess. It's like available throughout the day with different options.
Okay. And what was you eating at WWE?
What was I eating?
Yes.
Well, I was told that they watch what you eat. I don't know if it's
Really?
even a true. Yeah, it was a rumor, and we were like told not to talk to the wrestlers, don't bother them. The referees were very kind. They made sure that we didn't feel like aliens. I mean, I still did, but I just remember there was a whole bunch of food, and I remember Victor specifically got like a Smucker's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I like right after I did, and I really liked him as a performer, and I thought that was so funny.
Did you actually do extra work for WWE on camera?
Yeah, I was a part of No Way Jose's entourage, one episode of Raw.
That's awesome. What was it, the experience like performing in literally the biggest wrestling company in the world?
It was really amazing, but also nerve-wracking because, you know, you're actually on TV. This could be even just like the smallest mistake could end your career because that is the top. I mean, now more than ever, though, you can have a successful career on the indies, but at the time, I think it was like 2017, like WWE was it, like for us. And I remember when I was coming out the ramp, my heel like got stuck on the ramp.
Oh no.
Like because it was kind of squishy, and I was like, oh no, this is it. I'm gonna be like hobbling and like, shoeless on national TV. But I recovered. I don't think anybody noticed.
Well, another name that came up when researching you is Chelsea Durden. Great independent wrestler, great respected name. You've had a couple of encounters with Chelsea, so could you tell us about wrestling Chelsea?
Yeah, our main battles was when I was the corn-fed version, the nicer version of me. However, I did feel like I was tougher after having a child, so I remember very well working with her. She sided with Jacques at one point that left me basically having to team up with Max the Impaler. That was an interesting match because, you know, they don't play well with others.
Yes.
So it was interesting, and it was just nice to see like the different dynamics. However, it was a tough match, and I would definitely face Chelsea again in the future if it was a possibility, just because it was a good time for me, even though it was painful.
I been in there with Max the Impaler and Chelsea Durden. I could definitely imagine that.
Yeah.
Alright, you mentioned it. You're a mom. How has having kids changed your perspective on your pro wrestling?
I don't travel as much. Before I had children, I was everywhere, pretty much every weekend. Nebraska. Like I said, I've been down to Florida a couple times, New York, New Jersey, all around. And then as far as now that I have 2 children, I don't want to miss any time with them. They've become like they're my main focus. However, I do find it kind of ironic. I say, who knew that being pregnant or delivering children was going to be more detrimental to my body than professional wrestling? I had no idea, because this is the hidden part of women's health that no one talks about really. And if they are, I'm not aware of it. So I know Maurice just dealt with something terrible. Thankfully she was able to overcome it, but I was reading the post on Instagram and just bawling my eyes out, because she was like using her experience to draw attention to women's health, like how it's completely looked over.
And Carmella as well.
Yes, yep.
Now, before you were a mom, you were a babysitter. Can you tell us about the evil adventures of babysitting?
Yes, that little twerp, I should have left him like permanently at Olive Garden. I wish I would have. I needed some extra cash during the epidemic, or pandemic, whichever one you want to call it. That doesn't even exist anymore, I guess. So that was a good time filming that and getting in a little extra cash. And I don't know where he is now, but hopefully he got a job and isn't annoying the crap out of his parents.
Whose idea was evil adventures in babysitting?
What was the question?
Whose idea was that? Was that something you went to 01 with, or was that something that they came to you with?
I'm not really sure. I know probably the initial idea was mine. However, we 01 management and we work pretty closely together for that kind of stuff, and we just really enjoy the media side of it and getting people involved. And people are really like the show. I have people who quote it to me, and I'm like, they watch it like it's religion.
Well, I mean, there was 2-3 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. Can you tell us about the advantages and disadvantages of wrestling your significant other?
Yes. So I would say the advantages were very clear. You can probably tell between the time that I was able to wrestle Joey O'Reilly and now I have improved my skills immensely. At the time we were just friends, and I was just so grateful for the opportunity, because the way he moves is just like no other. The way he thinks about wrestling is incredible. It's just, he's an important talent that I think has been overlooked a lot. And so the chance to wrestle and intergender wrestling, I'm a big proponent of it. I really think that it's important. It gives women a lot of confidence, and I love wrestling all genders. I don't have a preference, but I do think that I've improved a lot. So the disadvantages is when he wants to try some moves on me, he hits very hard, and so when the adrenaline's not flowing, it's not as enjoyable or tolerable. we used to grapple a lot, just me and him, and I've only won like once out of however many times, and he'll say that it's because I surprised him or he wasn't ready or something, but I got him in a top wrist lock, so I'm gonna remember that till I die. So yeah, I would say, it's more advantage than disadvantage, especially when you're a team like him and I are. I may not see eye to eye with all his roughneck, weird stuff, country stuff that he likes to do and likes to be, but at the end of the day, I think most everybody knows that we're a good team.
Sounds like it's an intense situation wrestling him.
Yeah, he's definitely an artist when it comes to striking and just wrestling in general. Like, if you watch his matches, there's very few people that can move like him.
Well, speaking of artistry, would you prefer wrestling Joey, or would you prefer painting Joey?
I think painting, but I don't prefer him painting me. I thought I looked like Slenderman or like somebody like that was gonna kill you or eat you. But it was a good time. We actually had his sons draw each other, paint each other too. And that was a good time too, but they didn't put as much effort into it as we did.
Well, if they put more effort than Joey did, then they did very well.
I know. Well, he said he tried. And I think he got like, I was taking really long. I was like, I need to be very good. And then I got to his eyes and I'm like, no, it was almost good.
It was pretty good, I would have to say.
Well, thank you.
Alright. Can you tell us about wrestling Hornswaggle?
Oh, yeah. That was an interesting experience as well. I had wrestled people that were shorter than me, but not to that extent, and his experience level was pretty unmatched to the people that I've wrestled in the past. And just experience in the ring and just being around the WWE and all that, it was definitely interesting. I feel like I did lose a battle, but I wasn't very happy about it. It was at a brewery, so at least there was beer. And I don't know, I was appreciative of the opportunity, but not appreciative of the outcome.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Kind of like Joey's painting.
I was almost in tears. I was like, oh my gosh.
Alright. Now, going back to, the start of your career, there's one name that you can't necessarily talk about when talking about Rahne Victoria, and that would be Savannah Stone. Can you tell us about your rivalry with Savannah?
I started out with her from the very beginning. We battled endlessly in and out of the ring, and eventually we had to part ways. So I don't really want to speak any more on it.
Alright. Now, we spoke about Evil Adventures, but now it's time for Rahne's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Yeah, so when I was very green, I was invited to go down to down south. It was wherever AJ Styles is from, Gainesville, Georgia, I think.
Yes.
And so we were actually in the building where he used to wrestle a lot. And however, I picked up the guys that I was on the way with that needed the ride, and about not even like an hour in, the guy in the back throws up.
Ooh. And
it was very disgusting, and I was nervous to pull over on the highway, but we had to take care of that. Eventually, like, we got there after bell time, and me being as green as I was like terrified to show up to a show that late, and I wish we would have left earlier. I don't know if that would have helped the situation anyways, and I was told that I was going to be babyface and had never worked babyface at all. So that was like a very terrible time for me.
Was him throwing up, was it just like spontaneously, or like did you
I think he was hungover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. No, you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're part of an upcoming movie called The Baton Rouge Serial Killer?
Yeah, I wasn't basically an extra, but I was hired to do helping with stunts, because the main actor is a former professional wrestler, so he picked me to be the stunt. I was originally going to be a stunt double, but I moved to like stunt coordinator. I do believe they're filming again in the spring, and I met a lot of really cool people doing that. You'll see me as an extra at one point. However, I am not a lead role in the movie.
What was that experience like, being on a movie set, obviously compared to a wrestling environment?
So I have been in a couple short films. Bug Juice Productions has me, and like you can look me up on IMDb, but they were short films where I was actually the lead actress. And it's just very, very long days. Like wrestling, it can be long, but it's nothing compared to filming, because wrestling, you get one chance.
Right.
You are live action stunt doubling. You don't get a second take. You don't get another angle. You get that time, and that's it. So I would say I definitely prefer wrestling. It's just more enjoyable for me.
What did it you said the lead actor recommended you to coordinate the stunts. What did that kind of mean to you?
It felt very good, because the actresses, they just weren't necessarily familiar. They were beautiful women who were actresses and models, not necessarily fighters or been in a fight or portrayed a fight. So it was very interesting to meet these ladies and try to help them look more realistic in the acting part, because like you can pretend you're getting beat up or hurt or even murdered in this case, but you've never probably done that, especially the last one. And I do want to extend some respect, because this is a true story. These victims were real women and young women, all sorts of women, victims, and I do really send my condolences to the families.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you were a part of an orchestra.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's been a while. Unfortunately, when I moved to the middle of nowhere, Illinois, I have not had the opportunity to play. I played the cello since I was 9 years old. I've played all the way up into university. I played at Iowa State University Symphony. And when I lived in St. Louis, I played for the St. Louis Community College Orchestra of Merrimack. And that was a really cool opportunity because it was like all different ages, all different people. Like it was literally a community orchestra, and I got to meet and play with some very talented artists. And it was just really cool to have that experience. It wasn't like a lot of pressure like Iowa State, and it was very enjoyable.
What made you choose the cello?
Well, I originally chose the violin. I knew I wanted to do like a string instrument, and then I thought maybe it would hurt my neck. Like, it just seemed like it was like an awkward kind of position. That was my real reason why I was like 9 years old. So I was like, I want to play the cello. And so I did, and I like haven't stopped.
So you're still playing to this day?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you are the Empress of Evil. Can you tell us what was the last act of random kindness you've given to somebody?
I'm really nice to my lizard. Even though he's very moody. I don't know. I feel like I go above and beyond for my family. I've been also trying to work on myself. And then I would say I put on a really nice act for my job.
Okay, fair enough. And you mentioned your lizard Rex. How did you come to getting a lizard?
My boyfriend's sons were very interested. They love like animal life, especially the little one, and I thought it would be cool to get an iguana. And he's been challenging, but I've never been one to say no to a challenge. So I think that was about 3 years ago.
I'm just curious, what kind of challenges do lizards offer? They don't seem like they do a lot.
Well, he likes to escape to the point where he actually escaped outside. We got him a new cage thinking that they advertised it for iguanas, and they said they kept an iguana in it. Well, he escaped because the babysitter left a door open, and he lived in a tree at an abandoned house for about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Where the neighbor shot at him with a BB gun.
Wow.
And for a while, I didn't know where he was, and I just figured he was gone. Like, he hit the road down south, he was gone. But he'd just been hanging out there. I called animal control, and they were like, yeah, actually, he's over there. And I eventually asked the fire department. I was like, hey, I got a strange question for you. Can you help me get my iguana out of a tree?
And they were like, it's usually a cat, right?
They were like, I gotta ask my boss. And I was like, okay. And then eventually they did, and I caught him. And he also, he has very high, he's supposed to be in 80% humidity, and he's supposed to be under a UV light, and he is strictly vegetarian. Any animal proteins in his diet would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he is roaming, it has to be very free of other things. He likes to taste test things, so he's just He's not as lazy as some lizards.
I see. Sounds like he had a bizarre adventure.
Yeah, basically. He did not want to come home, but I didn't want him to get shot at anymore, so I was like, come on, buddy. Plus, it can get too cold for him.
Definitely. Especially up in Illinois.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that brings us to the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
One that comes to mind is Escape by Vincent Lima.
Okay.
That one speaks pretty deep to me. I really like Sleepyhead by Jutes right now. And then it would probably have to be a song by Pierce the Veil because they've been one of my favorite bands since I was like 15, maybe 16.
Alright. Do you lock it in?
Do I what?
Do you lock it in?
Yeah.
Alright. Solid 3 picks to say the least. Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack down first, then you write the script, and then you go to casting. Who plays Ring, and you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo?
I'd say Natalie Portman just because I really adore her, but she'd be probably too skinny. They've got CGI though, right?
Of course, we got CGI, anything is possible now.
Yeah.
Alright, Natalie Portman. Now that we have you casted, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people significant to you in your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's just say Joey, obviously, would be. I'll just say Hugh Jackman, since he's got the chops, and he didn't tell me he got the chops, and I was like, who are you? Okay. My friend Dave, he's definitely been helping me for the last few years, and my kids. I'm not really sure who would play him. I haven't been staying up to date with like pop culture.
We could leave it up.
Let's just Let's just say Theo Vaughn because he likes that comedian.
Okay, there you go.
And then the third one, I guess it would be, my daughters, but that would be 2 and 3, or 3 and 4.
Okay. And we could leave that up to casting.
Yeah. And then we'd have to find a little baby that is adorable. And my 2 kids are extremely intelligent. I don't know any little kid actors right now, but I'm sure casting could help me.
Neither do I. It's been a while since I've watched the Disney Channel.
Yeah, same.
Alright. It's sounding like a blockbuster to say the least. And you could pre-order the tickets now. Alright. On to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I love it. I don't like Canadian bacon though. So I don't like ham, I guess. But I like pineapple on pizza. I think it gives it an extra flavor that you wouldn't expect. I do enjoy it though.
Okay, so we are pro pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
I'm not familiar with Pokemon. I watched it as a kid, and I'm sure my boyfriend's children could pick one for me. So TBD.
All right, fair enough. We love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, 'cause a Doug can't spell. We love the late great Tracy Smothers, trying to keep the memory alive on the show.
Yeah.
Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview. Would you ever consider wrestling a rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical rock.
No. Because they're already pinned.
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and he did not win either. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully having a positive impact on the world, even though I am named the Empress of Evil. I hope to have a positive impact. Right now I'm struggling with my own issues, so I'm not able to help as much as I would like. But I'm hoping in 5 years I'll be in a place where I can.
And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are all about?
Where they should go, like the matches?
What match would you recommend that best shows off what you are as a wrestler?
I would say a lot of my recent matches have been me to a T. I've given it all. I've been really in my prime. Even with these injuries, I just feel like I've been performing the best. I really like, on Patreon you can watch our Friday special show. It was around March 15th, and I wrestled B.A. Malkin, and that was a tough battle, but it was one of my better ones, I do believe.
Is there anything we could find on YouTube?
On YouTube, a lot of my most recent YouTube is from LLT, and I would say I do get pretty aggressive up there. My match with DLC, I just really did not like that character. So that was a pretty good match for me, getting to take out some frustrations on him. And then Lady Tigress, those matches are on YouTube recently. I would say on the Patreon, you would get more context for 01 Wrestling and a lot of my matches, as well as some of the other superstars.
Okay. And since we are near, and I will grab a match from YouTube, and I will put in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it, wants to re-see it after this interview. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Asuka.
Worst wrestler.
Oh god. That's rough. I don't know.
Would you like the default answer?
What's the default answer?
You have chosen Eva Marie.
Okay.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Oh, wow. Asuka.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Oh, man. I really like Our Lady Peace.
So whatever.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Mostly dead, but I teach my trainees that we want to keep it alive.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
It's technically a fruit.
And you would be correct. It is indeed a fruit. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
I say whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, it's your body.
So to each their own.
Yeah.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
I can't say for sure about Darby Allin, but I did work at a supermarket and I talked about wrestling quite a bit.
So, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
And that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And once again, where can we find all things Rahne Victoria on social media?
Yeah, just a simple Google. They'll pop up, but it's Rahne, Rahne, space Victoria.
And people can DM you for merchandise, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all her social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, but on YouTube and Castbox. This is sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. And follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For our special guest, Rahne Victoria, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.